Nightingale will see here today, Blank, and in this tournament?
And for Gamers8, it's all over from there. With no more Erangels after this one. And then we're all going,
Oh,
I know, it's
it'll
so
be sad to see it go.
It's so sad. It is so sad. But Erangel, match number 4, and heading into this one, we will crown one final victor on the grassy pastures.
Ooh. A last chance. I mean, that last circle we just had was pretty wayward, pretty crazy. I mean, ex-Ruya did quite well, I think it's safe to say, to be able to take that one home.
Yeah, I think when we looked at it as well, it's like it should have realistically been Enigma Galaxy win. Like, they had the circle coming their way, but it was a very, very good push from next Ruya, which I don't think Enigma Galaxy were fully prepared for with the smokes coming through. Some really, really, really good nades over the top from next Ruya too. So I think that was Enigma Galaxy's chance, right, to get a bunch of points on board and a chicken dinner to catch up to Regnum Kaya. I think right now it is now becoming very, very difficult to even think of doing such a thing, because I think with that circle, Enigma Galaxy were thrown a bone.
I mean, they only managed to put a 2-point dent into the point gap that they had between those two teams, and only 3 matches now to play. I think that puts them at a 28-point difference, if memory serves, on the overalls, which means you're gonna need to play at 10 points better than Regnum Kaya every single match from now on.
Yeah, and right now Regnum Kaya is going into turtle mode, right? They're all up in that shell. They're not coming out anytime soon. They're in survival mode, and I think with plays like that, where they send towards North George side, it is very obviously not a winning move, right? That is a move that's going to get you towards the top 5, which it did, 5th place exactly, get you enough points on the placement point side of things, and with the fact that they got 7 eliminations at the start, that is the really big number.
Hopefully able to keep that one rolling. Mad Bulls playing split. Again, it's the adjusted drop that we've seen from their adventures in Rozhok. Let's put it that way. GK have managed to isolate that location for themselves. Very well done. Regnum Kaya over in Kameshki, trying to keep that top spot on the tables under control. We head into the final stretch of the tournament.
Yeah, pretty central circle here as well, John. So really, no one's too fussed about anything. The moment Regnum Kaya up towards Kameshki side, playing on that split at the moment, it's not bad. It'll work out well for them. They still don't have that far to get in towards the circle, so it could have been much worse. Nice little emotes on the back of the buggy right now. You know, the 3-man buggy, it's a rare thing to see, but they made it happen. And he's flexing on us as he does it. A great little surf coming through from Groza.
I wonder if the masterminds, Kale and Hot Jukes, can figure out the puzzle as to why he was doing that one. I mean, keeps you on the buggy, keeps you nice and safe, not moving, I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, you can't have 3 people in a buggy.
Well, yeah.
So you only have one vehicle for 3 guys.
I would point to the clip we just saw as counter evidence to that.
Yeah, it's not as simple to pull off as they made it look. I have tried before, and I've been thrown off into a tree and died.
Was that your fault or the driver's fault?
My fault, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
100%.
My slippery soles refused to remain on the bumper there.
Yeah, I need to get some Velcro on those.
Yeah, Velcro or just straight spikes.
Most people,
coming out my feet.
when you say Velcro shoes, most people think of the fastenings. No, Blank needs that on the sole.
Yeah, I bring portable hooks for the Velcro with me. I can just apply to anything.
Ooh.
You know when you walk up walls? I can pull that off.
I do that every day.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do.
I'm climbing them walls.
I see you on the ceiling watching the games in the background.
Kate Bush only runs up hills. I'm the next level.
Okay. Regnum Kaya, on the other hand, they have been
Kate Hedge.
scaling a mountain in terms of the points they've been able to accrue during this tournament. 205 is a really impressive result. And with how fast they made it happen as well, I mean, they've had rockets strapped to their backs since day 3. And they've done pretty well during day 1 and day 2 to keep up. That's the main thing. Enigma Galaxy right now in Pachinki, keeping things nice and chilled out over in this direction. I mean, until we see this next circle, there's not going to be too much action going on around the map for ourselves, considering how fair it is right now. Very likely to be the central island of Erangel that we'll be ending up on. Gladiators, though, they've climbed. They have climbed.
Yeah. I mean, it would be, it was the only direction they could go, really, given the start of this one. They're up in 11th now, 110 points, with the potential to leapfrog fairly far up these tables if they have a couple of pop-off performances. Over the last few days, I was thinking about which team I've enjoyed seeing the most in these matches, right? And my mind falls to Falcons on that front. I think you highlighted it the other day in terms of they're trying stuff. They are going for these alternative positions. And I think, you know what, I respect it. I respect that. I think we've seen them be instrumental in a lot of the later circles that have been the most interesting so far this tournament.
Yeah, they've done some really quite maddening plays before, and so have Gangsters recently. They have just been taking names wherever they can. Vision finds themselves in a nasty run-in with them. In the distance, you can see those vehicles are just scattering. Don't want to go against the Gangsters, who currently are on a war path at the moment. 13th place, looking to earn some more points today before they finish things out. Did not want to be a 16th place team at all. But you're right, Team Falcons have tried some interesting stuff. As I said before, quite maddening at times. You know, Sandhawk sending all the way across the map into one of those compounds that, you know, it was very much occupied, and there was some other options along the way. But yeah, I think Team Falcons have had a really nice journey throughout the Gamers8 tournaments here, over an All-Stars stage, PMWI, as well as now into the PMRC.
Been an enjoyable journey to follow them there. And I think moving into this tournament as well, if we're talking about what we've enjoyed, Maxman has definitely enjoyed himself. He was a Regnum Kaya shill right from the start, and it's paid off.
Yeah, from day one. I mean, none of us believed him, which is a bit sad. But they've proved Max right, to be honest. I think we have to give him credit where credit's due.
Nailed it.
He nailed it, yeah. He was, I'm waiting. They were going to pop off at some point. And, you know, he said to me, 4 chicken dinners on a day. That's easy for Regnum Kaya. Just you wait.
Do you reckon they could do it again? 4 chicken dinners today?
It would mean, how many would that be? It'd be another 3. They'd have to win all 3 games now, right? I mean, I'm here for it.
It'd be cool.
It would be double-digit chicken dinners in 4 days.
In 24 games?
Yeah.
Which, having almost a 50% win rate in a lobby. I mean, this is purely hypothetical, but that is just unbelievable.
But it is silly that they are only 3 matches away from hitting that kind of number. Yeah. I mean, at the moment, it's like, I would say, it's almost a 33% win rate. So almost a third of the games they will have taken. Right now, it is actually a third of the games. Exactly. On match 21 with the 7 chicken dinners they have.
Oh, I see. I was going to say 22 isn't divisible by 3, but yeah, no, with 21. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you. I did the maths.
Good job. Although...
This one's not over yet. It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
Exactly. It's not over yet.
It's not over yet.
Oh, dear. Gladiators moving out from North George. Something that Max was critical of them before was having that slowed down play style that they go back to at the start of tournaments seemingly every time.
Yeah, there's a lot of positions around the map that Gladiators could pick up and go for the simple approach, but often go for this complicated approach, and it does lead them to be getting into a lot of these engagements that they can't finish quickly.
See if the Falcons can conclude their scrap. Less of a scrap, more of a standoff right now. They're down on the southeast side. They're close to Nexus. They're close to Gangsters as well. We know how dangerous they can be given the right tools. Gangsters moving a little bit further north from that, but we're hopping on over for Geek, taking shots over towards Vision, who lost a player already. Brute Force as well, going back and forth. The Mad Bulls actually take them down, have been taken down entirely by them.
In the meantime, there is a third party that is coming through from the Gladiators over towards that position. That wasn't an easy fight for Brute Force whatsoever. They currently only have 1 player left remaining, and they're already starting to throw the nades over the tops from Gladiators, looking to find some of these eliminations, but all the while, these reses are going through in the process. That nade looks good from Matic.
Pre-pod on a low HP bar, still taking shots out from the building. Matic wants to launch one back. Tixie Tries
It's
to
in.
post it, sends it straight on through. Excellently found. The reses can still go through, and the heal comes out for pre-pod. They need to hold these angles and hold down the fights as well. But Tixie rolls in, looks for the flushes, goes low though, needs backup from his team. Pre-pod's down, and it's just one more, and brute force fall. Gladiators pick it up on a fast cross to Sunken.
Yeah, it's a really decisive play coming through from Gladiators as well, and we needed that for some time. Nexus, though, they are being picked to pieces here by GQ, who have actually had some very decent fights recently. Toffee's on the swing over on Sandhawk in terms of that 180 onto the vehicle after initially picking off the first player. You know, I wasn't a big fan of GQ at the start of the tournament. I felt like they were being gifted a lot of these free wins as they finally go down, but they certainly have some skill on side. Nexus, though, they've been thrown a bone here because I do think a lot of their rotates are really slow, John.
Been stuck in the quagmire on the southeast side, trying to just lift those feet through. But sluggish and slow has been the mood of their tournament. It's safe to say. Octavian further up the hill. Callagher wants to put the shots down, but not given that opportunity. Octavian stays safe with a smoke. In the meantime, Solke spotted Meku from the Gladiators. Not too close to that team, not going to be looking for that crash blank. Going across the headshot hills in between School and Pachinki and Rozok. Unwise, I would say, so Gladiators should be able to pick that one up, and indeed they don't. Hang on a minute, they lost it fully.
Yeah, he got flushed out, and it's very frustrating because this seems to be a reoccurring trend now for the Gladiators, which is have one good initial engagement, Meku or Kitsune or Matic goes wide, gets knocked, and is in a very flushable location, in which case they just lose that fourth player for free, leaving them down to just 3 players, which is always unideal for their end games. So I don't know why they do this so often. Like, their scouts are very reckless at the best of times. Look at the circle, though, heading down towards its southeast side. We have a little bit of the plateau, as well as those staging areas over on Potato Hill in the southeast that should give some good abilities for that information gathering over towards Road to Glory, who's used this position in the past. There's also Pachinki Fields involved, John, which is going to be nasty for teams like Demuerte, who have still yet to make their way through.
The hills on the east side of them not under control at the moment for Pachinki Fields, but maybe soon to change if Demuerte are looking for a spot anywhere they can get it. Vision going down to a nade from Ralph, and Enigma Galaxy capture one more corner. But they're playing on with 3, and if they want to close that gap further up to Regnum Kaya, they do need to bang out some really solid games. As we talked about, that differential will not close itself.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost Coops, though, which is a big deal for Enigma Galaxy. He's such an influential player on the team. They don't have him anymore, which means Freak now has to step up in the limelight. They also have Kryptonite next Ruya next to them. So Enigma Galaxy suffering slightly here. We'll take a couple of shots down towards Fireflux will next Ruya just to keep them at bay. But holding out, Enigma Galaxy coming out from Pachinki doesn't seem to be that big of a deal for next Ruya, and they can just coexist in this space for the time being.
Not top of the list of priorities for the time being. That central strip along the road, high-value compounds. Next Ruya, the first on that route out of Pachinki. GK, Fireflux looking to hold down further on those northeast sides, but at the moment, Potato Hill being fought over. Demuerte, Road to Glory, trading shots, but the first lick of damage goes to Demuerte as Jose has to hit the deck. I like saying it like that, but I think it's Jose.
I think it's Jose. Jose.
Jose. It's more fun.
It is more fun. There's a lot of phlegm involved, though, and I don't enjoy that.
To get a couple of tissues.
Can we get a couple of tissues up in here now?
The monitors need a wipe down.
So I can pronounce Kose.
I've been talking about Demuerte. Let's get the tissues.
Get the tissues out. Regnum Kaya over towards the eastern side, though, are being beset upon by Nexus. Now, this is a big fight. Obviously, Regnum Kaya don't have to try too hard to keep themselves involved in the conversation, considering how far they are ahead. But Nexus can stop their run quite quickly, which might allow Enigma Galaxy to get some profit on this game, which is better than nothing. Circle heads down towards the southeast side. Quite a grim circle, to say the least. You know, the tree lines are available down past Schoolway.
Regnum Kaya just died.
Yeah, I think it was Nexus. They're on a hot streak right now. 9 eliminations.
Wow.
That's big. That's a really quick wipe. And that is what I was talking about as well, is that if Nexus can come off the back of that initial good engagement for themselves, head over towards Rectum Kaya, take them out, Enigma Galaxy needs to make the most out of this game. But they have lost Coops. I'm going to keep reiterating it because I think it's a really big deal.
They are Coopless right now.
Coopless.
They cannot contain it. 2 hard southeast shifts on these circles in a row now to bring us over towards the hill, near the Potato Hill, the east side of Pachinki Fields as well. As, excuse me, crash on into the 3-player roster of Enigma Galaxy. Coopless and will not be able to find the first blow, but it is traded off. Ralph goes down. Lord looking to cook up a nade, try and keep them in it. Freak as well, still active, but across the way, needs to back him up. A lovely nade finds Havlik, and Lord able to find more as well. Almost single-handedly dealing everything he needs to, and they're being swept aside. Excuse me, roll up and straight into the fire. Freak goes down on the door frame, and Black-White tries to keep them alive as well for excuse me. 3 players active, Rezable sure, but Lord, actually, he's not going to go for this drop down. He's going to look for that nade once more.
I mean, can he get this? He knows directly the location. A bounce off the wall could be really good, but it slams the car into the wall instead. Both players alive, and he's taking shots from the distance as well.
GK from that northern side, trying to chime in with a third party, but Lord under the windowsill needs to keep them in it if they want to try and close this gap. It could be the final moment for Enigma Galaxy to come through, and it will not happen. Excuse me, lose 2. Havlik needs a res, and GK are here to play.
Good. I mean, Lord went on an absolute freak performance there. That is something you don't see every day. This is the cleanup coming through from Nexus over towards Regnum Kaya. And of course, it's Doran to start off the engagement strong. This boy has always been amazing for the squad as that heavy hitter in the front. And they're on 12 eliminations. Nexus finally shows a bit of what they're all about at the end of the tournament. Better late than never.
And the Gladiators are next up to fight Nexus on that north side. Meanwhile, bombardment on Potato Hill. Kevin rolls straight on up for the Gangsters and takes the fight. Does pretty well against Road to Glory. Rio goes flushed away. And now De Muerte want to try and launch their assault onto the Gangsters. The sandwich has closed now. Only 1 player for Road to Glory, and that's going to get taken care of by De Muerte. They pick up the point onto the final player, and now they turn their attention. Kevin goes down first, and the Gangsters lose the opening trades.
Yusuf in the smoke has to back out a little bit as Tapot goes for a mad spray to pepper the Gangsters themselves. Yusuf goes for something similar, but can't quite find Tapok as he moves back and forth over the top of this rock.
Tapok still through the smoke, laying down the laser beams emanating from the barrel. In comes the roll down. The cavalry's here to play, and De Muerte wants to deal death to anyone who steps to them. They will succeed in winning out the fight for Potato Hill. All 4 of them alive as well on that southeast side. Gladiators, who did crash on into Nexus, still going back and forth with them.
It's a gorgeous double rundown coming from Elementrix as well. Doran, though, first to fall to Tixie, but he will run immediately into the fire. Gets onto the rooftop to try and put out the fire itself, getting away from the molten remains underneath him.
Ooh, that is tricky, and a lot more damage still to come as Exo Machina tries to find the angle. The heal comes through, and the Gladiators maintain 3 players. They crashed straight on into Nexus, and they didn't all go down. So I count that as a success.
Next Rio as well took a really quick rotation earlier on in the game towards the compound on the eastern side of the fields, which should give them a really good chance against a lot of these teams that are moving out from that western side. We're talking GK as well as Excuse Me on that side. It will give them sightlines over towards De Muerte unless they shift up towards the north to try and take this engagement between these 2 teams as it's concluding. Great shots from Gapahala with the help of some lovely nades from Exo Machina.
Matic down, crawling around on the inside behind cover. Elementrix may be a pivotal part, but Matic's next to go. Sorry, Tixie's next to go. Kitsune, you can see immediately repositions behind cover, but Nexus do not want to let this one go. The pedal is all the way to the metal as they ride on in and get the flush onto Matic. The res did come through, it looks like. No, hang on a minute, they've all been taken down, but Kitsune won't go down that easy. Finds one, but that is all he will find. And Kitsune falls last for the Gladiators.
Fireflux from that west side will be looking over towards Nexus, and they're trying to extricate themselves from this situation with 15 eliminations in 15th place, matching their placement to the elims they find in this game. But this could be a massive jump up for them, but they have to be careful. There's a lot of teams looking their way, with Muerte on that high ground and Fireflux for relative safety in their compound.
It's like they've remembered how to play the game, Blank. It's incredible from Nexus to be able to take these fights coordinated, maintain that cover on these hillsides. We'll see what more they can achieve. Taking shots down towards Fireflux, a helmet just peeking on through, and Lutz not quite able to do it.
EXO was just fully teasing the head there. That is so unfortunate that he couldn't find the headshot over towards him. And we'll move away. Elementrix, though, still having a quick scout. Move around. I think Nexus has got probably one of the most difficult rotations for themselves, but you're right. I mean, Nexus has been in a straight fugue state throughout this tournament, finally breaking free of the amnesia.
They are the one who knocks.
Exactly. You know, it's been a dark descent for them, but finally they're seeing the light.
Right on the edge of the circle this time, though. We'll see if that order is tall enough for them to mount that hurdle. Muerte on their south side, and Doran will scout out behind them on that wraparound, looking to try and push into the northern side. It is bold. Elementrix and Aces, the first to go into the fight. And actually, yeah, you're right. They do manage to get that opening knock. Now they can start to convert Aces down and out. 3 players alive for Muerte and a 16th elim on the board. Meanwhile, across in Pachinki Fields, GK trading back and forth with excuse me.
Again, this is most likely a fight that will be concluded not by either of these teams, but by Nexruya, who currently have the best compound right now on that eastern edge of the field. Fireflux will have to move out from there, and Muerte was running scared from the powerhouse that is Nexus this game, looking to set a record on the amount of eliminations we've seen during the PMRC.
16 right now, the tally for Nexus. Let's look at that table as well for most eliminations. 6 for Doran, Octavian up on 4 as well. Capahala and EXO not too far behind. A really even performance from the squad.
I mean, Doran, like, he's gone from team to team to team, and, you know, he is not a relatively new player, but he seems quite like a young player. And he has definitely honed his skills over time. And I think he was one of the best additions to the squad. But he was making quite a few mistakes at the start, fixed them. You come into an offline tournament, it's a little bit more difficult to find your footing like that. But this is the Nexus that we're used to. They're very, very good. And these late rotations are starting to feel just a little bit tighter in terms of their timings. I think they continue like this, maybe they could end up in 14.
It is still quite a gap to make, but you can see on the tower graphic on the right-hand side, with 16 eliminations, they sat 30 points behind at the start. That means that, if my maths is correct, they do need to find another 14 points on this game to breach that gap.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it is a nice start, getting up towards 69. Hopefully they can go further than that. GK, full squad. Fireflux, full squad. Nexruya is a full squad, so is Nexus. This is a really heavily team-packed ending.
Octavian, Capahala both just swerving, snaking about in the buggies, trying to bait these peaks. Allow the teammate to move on in, playing together. Good news. Nade over the top. We're not going to find anything. Octavian nice and safe for the time being. North side, meanwhile, Fireflux up to the wall, pushing out against GK.
EXO, that is dangerous maneuvers coming through from EXO at the moment. Does not spot height at all from GK. Solk certainly sees him though. EXO will just move out. He has been playing without a care in the world at all. Poking the helmet out and now moving up towards Muerte. This is the fight that they keep want to take because this makes no sense. They're heading down towards Muerte. That's the basis of it, because this is the team they know they've already taken one player from, and they're looking to finish this fight so they can clear and compete for that eastern side of the circle.
Solk actually taking a shot and a Solus goes down to Nexus? I thought they were fighting Duerte. What's going on? Hang on a minute. Exclamation are just opening up.
Hello?
Straight on in. And now it's Duerte rolling around in the buggies, taking down Kapahala. This is all going crazy, but Doran is there to maintain sanity for Nexus on the eastern side. They're looking for more shots towards the backline. Tapok forced up into the blue. Kapahala crawling away, looking for that res, and Doran
That's
just
dangerous.
anchoring for the roster. The nade over the top allows him to go for the flush, and in they sail. But next Ruger are here to party. They've swung out to the east. They want to push Duarte back up to the top of this hill, and they will do just that. They find the backlines, and it is down and out for Duarte atop the hill.
That is a kind of a strange push from next Ryu. They just left one of the compounds that is the only one still inside the circle. They clear out and finish this fight. They can still head back over to that because GK's not taken full control, but they have essentially allowed GK just get across. They immediately wrap back in, as I said before, to take this compound once again. What an interesting play, but getting back in is more difficult than they expected as Frozen and Yetka take an absolute barrage.
Will survive for the time being. The building they hold, though, right on that edge. And they'll need to deal with more to get out of that. 4 teams remain now. 17 eliminations for Nexus. Now they need 13 more points. That would be 3 eliminations and a chicken dinner. Or a whole bunch more eliminations and all the way up to second place.
Doran takes shots. I don't know if getting in the buggy right now is a good idea, my dude.
In the
You're
blue?
not in the circle as of yet. In a flaming buggy on 1 HP, still goes for it. I really think the Nexus has just sent everything into this game. They don't care anymore. And a beautiful nade from Kapahala over the top absolutely decimates the squad of Fireflux.
The bright red bars for Fireflux bring them low, and another to fall.
This
as
could be a
GK
massive.
look for this flank on as well from that western side. The nade over the top to find them again, and Solke now the last to stand for Fireflux. The Turkish roster, who's been laying down the law across tournaments. Falling under the gaze of Nexus here. Shots from Kapahala. See Satan and try and banish him back to the depths of hell. Solke cooking up a nade, last to stand. Kapahala sees him peek through the front of the smoke, strafes across with the bullets, but doesn't quite find the target. The cook is there, and the buggy sidestepped. Kapahala low, needs to be careful. Will go down to the nade, but in comes the swing from Makeda. Solke still on the warpath. It's GK to chime into the fight. Find that third party, and Solke finally falls, but for the first time this match, Nexus lose 1.
21 eliminations, John. Nexus is on a hell of a streak right now. Looking for more from the guys on GK. Smokes come down. They try and collect Kapahala, get him back into the engagement. Right now, the sightlines can't get over towards his side. And next Ryu might just be enough to slow down the push from GK, allowing Nexus to get back into the fray. But with the blue pushing, things are getting difficult.
GK looking to move around and control, temper the position for next Ruya. We've seen their intelligence in final circles in that last Erangel. Need to force their minds to play ball with them once more.
Next Ryu, I think, have made some pretty interesting rotations, looking to cut off positions around the map that's going to cause them the most amount of trouble into that late game. I like that push over to Duarte and then slingshotting back towards their compound and then flexing out a little bit. Yes, it's let GK get out, but it's forced them over towards the slope side of the circle itself. Nexus still has a fair way to push in here. I think they're quite happy with how this game has gone. But next Ryu looking for another chicken dinner on the day.
Would be quite something. But for
There's
Nexus,
no way.
They're going in. They want to go for the fight with GK, but Kapahala's down. Maybe a little bit of a misstep here. A little bit too bold.
No
but there
way.
is still more left in the back. And
There's
Doran
no
goes
way.
big. Goes for 2. Finds the backline. And now one more player stands. Next Ruya, so present in these fights, though. They move up. They take the perfect opportunity. Doran breaks
no
wide.
way.
And he finds the third. The man is on a mission. 24 eliminations and a chance to take it back.
24 elimination, Frozen whiffs it, and he looks for more. Octavian finds at least one, but I think the deed is now done. Next Ruya takes the chicken dinner, but Nexus takes home all the glory on a massive game. 30 total points.
Even when it is darkest, Hope remains if one only remembers to turn on the light, and it is Doran to shine bright for Nexus. What a play. I mean, they're on the screen, and it is a back-to-back chicken dinner, but I cannot overstate the impact of that game.
It felt like Nexus just stopped overthinking everything, and if anything, started underthinking everything. They were like, look, GK's causing us problems, man. Let's just rock up in the buggies, pull out the DBS, see what happens.
Oh, man.
But Nextruya's got to be happy about this. This is going to add a good tally to their total so far, push them even further up the rankings. And I mean, I think for Nextruya, they're making a good push towards that podium today. It is still a little bit difficult to make happen, but the guys at the top got to be slightly worried.
Definitely something to consider to fend off that position at the back, but still Regnum Kaya maintaining their position on the tables. For the time being, though, with 2 matches left to play, the gap is still there, still ways down from the top.
Man, look, sometimes all it takes is someone to open the door, and Doran's your man at the end of the day.
He is.
He is the way.
He's not opening the door.